Light switches, boys. Run water here. Toilet. Toilet. You get up, you either press the button or you flush the handle. Well, see your shite. It is now someone else's problem. Do you know what I mean? It's someone else's problem. You don't have to think about putting your shite in the bin, putting your shite in a compost heap, doing something with the toilet paper, where it's going. Is it going to get stuck in a pipe?
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Here's the Crack podcast. We are joined this week by Chris Suitor, who's kindly agreed to come on our podcast this week and chat a bit about anything, really. Kind of going to be a bit more less structured with this one and just sort of chill out, ask a few questions. Thomas, you had a question there you were chatting about there before we started, so why don't you start with that?
I think what we thought we'd start off with who is Chris Suitor. So anyone who really hasn't heard of you before, what would you say?
Well, boys, look, firstly and foremostly, thank you for having me on the podcast. I love doing bits and pieces like this here. So I actually found it really enjoying. You know, some people find it kind of daunting. I really look forward to coming on these podcasts because, again, I don't know what you're going to ask me. And one thing about me, boys, it's the kind of persona that I try to promote. I am an open book, and you will get nothing but absolute flipping honesty out of me. So, and I think that's just number one, the way I live my life, and it's just the way I think things should be. And we'll go on to talk about fakeness and stuff later on, I'm sure, and fake Instagrammers and fake flipping everything. But yeah, mate, right. So, who am I? I am a tailor. I own a men's tailoring business in Belfast called Suitor Brothers. Amongst other things, let me see what else do I do a bit of DJing. I do MC work. I do hosting, motivational speaking. Influencing. I'm one of those. I'm like a lowly small one of those influencer type arsehole. But let me see what else to do. Do other stuff too. Yes, I've got a business in Isle of Man called the Noble Suitor. Same sort of thing as the one in Belfast. It does the same high-end bespoke suits and stuff like that. I've also just launched a coffee business called Suitor Coffee, where we have our own coffee bean, our own roast, actually. Yes, with Nicola, my wife. Nicola's waving at me. So yes, with Nicola, with my wife, it's our first business together, and we've got the most amazing little. Like, again, nobody knows this. This is exclusive, boys, but it's a coffee truck, right? So I've been keeping this whole thing going. It's a very unique little camper coffee truck that's self-contained, and it's going to serve our own roast called 1111. So that's the next step of the business, and I've also got a mentoring stroke life coach business that's been in flip. It's been in the production for the last 2 years. I've just never had the time to really give it strategy and actually go out there and start doing it. So here, that's kind of me summed up in a bit of a nutshell. But yeah, I do quite a bit. And boys, I've got a lovely wife, Nicola. I've got 2 amazing kids, Ava and Lois. They're 9 and 7. And a wee dog, Gucci, wherever she is, probably eating something that shouldn't be. So that's kind of it, boys. I just go I just kind of go out there and do things. That's kind of my gig, you know. See, if I want to do something, just go ahead and do it. And if I don't have the means or the ways to do it, find out how to do it. So that's kind of where it is.
That's one thing we were talking about before you came on, was like, if you go on your Instagram and then go to like the more, there's all these accounts pop up, and I was like, what's he at? Like, is he just at everything? Like,
I just have a go. Yeah.
I'd seen the coffee thing, and then there was a few other things. Like, I'd seen the tailoring business and stuff in Isle of Man. But
yeah,
like, have you been at the tailoring in Belfast? Like, has that been something you've been at for a long time? Or
right? So yes, story in it, boys. So a brief kind of history of me. Out of school, went to university, went to Queen's, and did an electrical and electronic engineering degree. While I was at Queen's, started up my first business, which was called SQ Design. It was a car audio company. So hold on, my watch is talking to me. We did car stereo installs. So I don't know, guys, whether the younger kids are into it nowadays, where we kind of upgraded the stereo systems, put TVs and all into your dash and hang from the roof and big subwoofers and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. The kids really aren't into it nowadays. Like,
Pimp My Ride.
Exactly. Pimp My Ride, Ross. And then from that, it became a car body shop. So we started actually doing these things called fiberglass installs. So you'd open your boot, and inside it would actually look like a continuation of your car body. So it'd be all smooth and color coded with the speakers and the subwoofers poking out of it and TVs and stuff. So we got into spraying and doing that, and then some guy gave us a bumper to spray, so we sprayed that. And then all of a sudden it was a body kit, so it was sprayed and fitted that. And then all of a sudden it turned into a full-scale automotive workshop up in Saintfield. I sold that in 2000 and early 2011 to buy into my family business, which is the Suitor Brothers, or the Suitor Men's, where it was then. My dad was retiring, and boys, I'll be honest with you, I used to. It's just what people maybe wouldn't have seen. Whenever you're growing up in a family business is generally everything. And my parents were very much about that the business is everything, because without the business, it doesn't pay for the roof over your head, the food on your table. So even though I had my own business, which was the car business, any days or any weeks that I took off in the car business, I had to go work in the shop. And again, I just felt like I owed it to my family and owed it to my brother and owed it to my mum and dad. And it was this one Christmas, it was the Christmas of 2010. Yeah, 2010. I had taken I closed the workshop for 3 weeks to work in the shop for the 3 weeks over Christmas. And I was walking around from the shop with two shops then, one on Upper Arthur Street, one on Rosemary Street, walking around with my dad. And my dad says, look, son, I'm getting out of this business. And he says, look, my half will be up for sale. He says, if you come to me with the right offer, knowing that it's the right offer from daddy, it'll be not a whole lot of dough. Like it'll be all right. And honestly, what are you doing with the cars? And I was thinking to myself, I was getting married the next year. The car game, boys, I'll be honest with you, doesn't make a whole lot of money. And there was two partners in my business. There was SQ, was me and another guy called Quinn. There was enough money in it for one guy, right? And it could be run by one guy, right? And I just thought to myself, I'll bow out and I'll go into my family business, because that'll leave Quinn then a really good, sustainable wee business for himself. Again, that was kind of my like selflessness sort of thing. So I did that, sold out. Quinn, he wasn't particularly happy about losing me, because me and him were like that from where we're growing up. And I then joined the family business. Don't worry, my dad worked out a great plan, and it paid off well, right? But I was coming into the business as a junior partner. At the end of the day, I'd worked there since I was 13. I knew how to do it. I knew everything about it. But I still was in as the junior partner. And me and my big brother would get on really, really well. But I didn't want to come in like Billy flipping big balls here. I know everything, because that's not me. So I kind of just learned the business from the ground up, from an owner perspective, from a partner perspective. And again, the staff and stuff took very well, because again, I became one of the boys as well as being one of the owners, if that makes sense. And just, we're as a family really, really good at kind of keeping the scone all together, if you think of it that way, whenever you're baking a cake. So yeah, I stuck at that, and I learned that I flipping got stuck into the bottom. I brushed the floors, done the windows. In fact, I still do that to this day. And just, I wanted to learn everything. It's the way I am, guys. See, if I get into something, I want to know everything about it from the ground up. I'm not one of these guys that goes in with a high level of self-importance thinking, I'm Billy Big Balls, I know this and I know that, and I've done this and I've done that. I can do everything. And you do that. I want to be at the bottom and learn from scratch. So I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years. And then I decided that the business was fine. Like the wee business was taking over. It was just coming out of the sort of 08 crash.
Yeah.
And we'd sailed through that. And we were coming out the other side. And I just seen a big market for bespoke tailoring. So said to my dad, said to my brother, and boys, I want to get into bespoke tailoring. What do you think? And they said, honestly, been there before. It's not worth your while. Chris, forget about it. Let's just do what we're doing. But the kind of that entrepreneurial side again just started poking its head out. And I was like, fuck this. I just selling this stuff. And that's not me. Again, I wanted to know everything about it. So I delved into bespoke tailoring behind their back. And I did every single flipping course that I possibly could without them knowing, until it came to the point where I was able to hook up with a bespoke factory and take on a franchise of that, as it were. And more or less just did it all behind their back. And more or less just said at one time, here, boys, by the way, I've signed up to bespoke tailoring. We're going to be doing bespoke tailoring for now. But here, don't worry, I'm going to do it all. You just don't have to worry about anything. I'm going to do it all, boys. And within, to cut a very fucking, sorry for going on here, to cut a very long story short, I doubled the turnover of our 25-year-old family business within 2 years. So, Jesus. And again, that in itself is probably, if you were going to ask me what's the kind of like the most success that I felt, that's been one of the biggest things, because again, the business didn't need fixed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I took it upon myself and went behind their back. But here, it's all worked out really. It's all worked out really, really well. And yeah, we're going now since '92, so we're going 28 years or something like that now. I think it would have been 20 years back then, but we're going 28 years now, and yeah, all going strong, boys. So
Happy days.
that's how we get into tailoring, into the bespoke. And by the way, whenever I started out, there was very few people over here doing bespoke tailor. So again, that was me just trying to find a wee niche, something different, something that set the Suitor shop apart. And yeah, it worked, guys. It worked. So another thing is, sorry, go ahead, boys.
Was there ever a point in that experience, like you starting up this personal tailoring business, where you sort of realize this is actually going to work?
Yeah,
When it
do
really
you
clicked?
know what? After about the first 4 or 5 suits, Shay,
Right.
didn't work out perfect. They worked out
Right.
good. And I knew after about the third one, look, I can do this. Okay. I know what I'm at here. I can do it. But it took me another maybe 4 or 5 guys to really start honing in. And by the way, I'm still learning, boys, to this day. And I have done thousands of suits, not hundreds, thousands of them, and I'm still learning. And yeah, after about, because again, don't forget, boys, some of the customers, they had to put their trust in me. Like, these things were expensive. We started off, our suits were then about 800 or 900 quid, so they were expensive. And some of the customers that we had for those many amounts of years just gave me a go. Does that make sense? You know, all right, you're doing
Yeah.
bespoke now. Here, make me a suit. I'm thinking, holy fuck, what if I mess this up? And that, there was that wee element of self-doubt at the very, very start. But after about, as I said, about 4 or 5, maybe the 6th one, I was starting to get it. But then again, the way I do things, I get right into it. And again, as I've said, boys, I want to know every single flipping detail of how to do something, to my detriment in some cases, because I can get stuck in some things and really get involved in it, you know, and maybe not see peripherally. But yeah, it was really, really good fun, just thinking back. Like, it was really good fun. Although whenever the customer's coming in, you know, and you've made this suit from scratch and you're thinking, holy shit, is this going to fit? And the guy's coming in with a full, like, the customer comes into the shop thinking this thing's going to be the best suit he's ever had. And all of a sudden he puts on his trousers and his trousers are out here like a fucking clown. And you're honestly, boys, it's the worst feeling. And you're going, oh shit, how did I get that so wrong? But then you have to kind of, like, you know, you have to put the customer at ease that, you know, here, it's okay, I'll make you another trouser. It's all right, or I can fix it, or I can do this. Boys, let me tell you, I had my fair share of that. The first sort of 5 or 6 ones were just, oh Jesus, some of the things that went wrong. They were all fixable, but they made me feel really shit. You know, I was like, damn it, because I was expecting to be brilliant at it from the first get-go, but I wasn't. And look, but I learned, again, those things, boys. One thing you'll see me saying online and stuff like that, I don't believe in mistakes, I just believe in lessons. And that was all those wee things were lessons. So
What would you say would be like the biggest lesson you've learned, or like the biggest sort of hurdle you've came over in business then? Or
in business, biggest hurdle ever, Thomas, is pay the VAT man and the tax man. That is the biggest lesson, boys. Let me tell you, I have ever learned it. I don't want to go into too many details, but in the SQ design business and the car business, we were that busy pimping people's rides and going out in Skylines doing donuts everywhere that we didn't keep up to date with our bills.
Oh no.
Yes, mate, and it came back with a massive punch in the balls. I'm not. I don't want to go because it brings back terrible memories. I hate bad memories. Again, I just kind of block them out of my head. Mate, boys, cost me a lot of money. But anyway, again, it was a lesson, because let me tell you, see, nowadays the VAT man and the tax man get fucking paid before they want the money. In fact, this last month we've been trying to pay HMRC our tax, and they wouldn't take the fucking money. And like, when I want to give you this, well, just get the fuck out of my life. So there was a whole big mess up with HMRC. But anyway, we'll get that sorted, yeah, boys. But so that's, if you ever get into business yourselves, my biggest lesson that I can tell you is pay your bills, because they do catch up with you. And see, for those guys that think, oh, here, we'll just fucking here, well, forget about that. Or, you know, you see the letter come in, you know, HMRC, Her Majesty Revenue and Customs, you go, I'll look at that later. Don't open it up there and then. Look at it, get it in your head, what money you owe. If you don't have it, find it. If you don't have it, phone them, work out a time to pay. What we did back then was just, fuck that stuff. Chuck that in with the rest of them. And it cost us in the end. But look, we got out of it the other side. So
When you say, like, it sounds like you have like a trait where you're like pimping people's rides and now you're pimping people's clothes, basically suits, like.
Well, that
like,
is it. Yeah, that is it, essentially.
But like, like I was on Suitor Brothers Instagram and I seen like you'd done Johnny Ray and Rory Best. Like who would be like the most, like did you go out and try and find them people, or did you like build the business up to that was a point where they were coming to you?
Yes.
And like who's the most like famous person that's ever walked through your door that you've been like,
being
my God.
starstruck with? Oh, flip. I'll answer that in a wee minute. That's a brilliant one. Yeah, so once I started getting into the actual personal side of the tailoring, another angle that I chose to go down was within Belfast, I got myself involved with numerous different industry bodies and stakeholder groups within the city. So my idea was, right, I'm now doing the personal tailoring. How do I get it out there? How do I market it? And obviously I was doing my bits and pieces on Twitter because I didn't have Instagram back then, doing the wee bits and pieces on Facebook. But it really wasn't getting it was getting traction from outside of Belfast, but it wasn't getting local traction. So I got involved in, I say many different industries, including like Belfast Chamber and the Belfast City Centre Management and the Belfast Improvement District. I got involved as a chairperson or as a director in those, and even became chairperson of the Belfast One Business Improvement District. And that really got my name out there because I was out there shaking hands. And again, it's this kind of inference that I'm trying to get across to you boys about being real. See, when you meet someone and you shake their hand face to face, it's better than any business card or any flipping promotional video or any old shite that people are into nowadays. Sadly, with COVID, you can't go out and do that. But back pre-COVID, you're allowed to go out, network with people, rub shoulders with them, shake their hands. And I got my name out there as the personal tailor, right? So certain people started hearing about it. Certain people started wanting that service. I actually changed my name then on Twitter to the Belfast Tailor because I used to do a lot of radio. I still do, but a lot of radio interviews and TV interviews. And it was Wendy Austin on Talkback used to introduce me as Chris Suitor, the Belfast Tailor. And I thought to myself, fuck, that's a good name. That, and that says exactly what it is. And that's good, like from a marketing side, I think it's fucking great. So I changed my name then to the Belfast Tailor, and that then became my personal tailoring side. And the website was called the Belfast Tailor. I think there is the website still there. And my Twitter name and everything was the Belfast Tailor. And yeah, I just started getting a whole lot of traction. And how the whole celebrity thing came about, Michael Conlon got in contact with me when he won the world amateur boxing championship. So Michael was an outstanding amateur boxer, and he was the first Northern Irish guy to win the World Amateurs, which in itself is a mind-boggling achievement for a wee country like us. It's fair play to Michael for that. He wanted dressed up for RT because sports stars were just kind of starting back. McGregor was starting to emerge, and the whole everybody getting suited up was starting to take off. Whereas before, sports stars just going on the TV, they just wore their tracksuit, right? So Michael Conlon came to me. I dressed him up for RTE, and then I dressed him up for another, like an award ceremony or something like that. There was coming up, and then Frampton. I don't know. We card Frampton, seen Michael Conlon and how sharp Michael Conlon looked. He sent me a message on Twitter saying, "Chris, I've seen what you've done with Michael. Can you do the same with me?" My clothes fit like fuck all. And I was like saying, "Yes, card. Yes, they do. And yes, I can." And and then honestly, boys, see, once Carl came, you probably know how big a name and big a personality is over here. See, once Frampton came in the door, the flipping floodgates opened. Then I got every time there was a superstar or a celebrity wanting dressed for an award ceremony or a wedding or whatever, my name was the first one on their lips. So it was great. And boys, tell you, I've done suits for most of the. I'm just trying to think, like most of the high ends, particularly the sports stars. Like that was kind of my niche because I was big into sport and I was able to converse with them, connect with them, and like Bestie would come in and would just talk about rugby the whole time, or JR would come in and would just talk about superbikes and MotoGP and road racing and. Yeah, and then obviously all the boxers. The boxers was the key. Like the boxers, just that was their gig, wasn't? There's a press conference, suit up to the fucking balls.
Yeah.
And but most famous. I make all Van Morrison suits now. So I don't know if have you heard of Van Morrison?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because honestly, boys, see some of the younger lads I ask, "Have you heard of Van Morrison?" Go, "Who?"
Holy shit.
And I go, Van Morrison, singer, brown eyed girl. No, they go, "Nah, I never heard of him."
That's mad.
So, I know. So Van, I make all Van suits, and Van, like the thing that I try to explain about Van. See Van in Northern Ireland, massive superstars, you'd imagine. See Van outside of Northern Ireland, he is enormous. Like seeing Asia, Van Morrison is more famous than fucking Elvis. Like literally, he is so popular. But yeah, but the most starstruck I've ever been, two guys, right? And you're gonna laugh your balls off. I did a thing, I restyled Q Radio, the whole Q Radio team, 2 years ago, and did an Owen Quigg come in the door. Now, do you know who Owen Quigg is? Look at Thomas's face. Owen Quigg, boys, I shit you not.
X Factor days.
Owen Quigg came in my door, and I couldn't even fucking speak to him. I was like, fucking Owen Quigg! It's Owen Quiggy! Fucking Quiggy! Oh dear! And I honestly, you can get the goosebumps thinking, "Fucking Owen Quigg," you know. And he's like, "Chris, what? Calm down. I do radio now." Like, but you're fucking Owen Quigg. So Owen Quigg, and then boys, he's into football.
Yeah.
You into Man United?
Yeah, I support United. Me and
if I mention a word Eric Cantona, would that mean anything to you? No flipping way. Yeah. No, I talked that much to him. He didn't fucking buy anything. Because he was like literally, boys, you know, he is my hero. He's my Georgie Best, you know. He was just the fucking king, boys. And there he is, standing in my doorway and going, fuck me, boys, this is Eric Cantona, come on. So yeah, I'll send you the picture after this here. I got a very reluctant selfie with him where he's kind of looking like this, you know, all serious and all fucking I'm like this here. So yeah.
Is there any,
I thought you said two boys there, and then you mentioned X Factor, and I was like, oh my god, please don't tell me he's going to say the most famous person they ever dressed up was Jedward.
No, although I've met those boys at an award ceremony one time, and they're nowhere near as mad as what they put on.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure if I owned a shop and they bust in through the door and like, I'm John and I'm Edward, I'd be like, I'm gone. See you later.
Can you get me a suit, man? No, they're actually, swear to God, I met them at I think at Dublin, an RT thing, and they were like your boys. They're normal. They're actually normal. Just bog standard. Hi, yeah. Okay, thanks, boys. And then all of a sudden you put a camera and it's like, whoa, man. So, oh dear, sure, flipping good crack.
Is there anyone that you'd really like to make a suit for? Like any celebrities?
Oh,
or?
Good question, Shane. Good question. Holy shit, that's a good question. Nobody's ever asked me that before. Why has nobody ever asked me that before? Shit, that's a fucking great question.
Jamie Dornan.
Who said that? Ross?
Me. Yeah.
Bang, nail on the head. Two guys, in fact, two guys. Right. Dornan, right, who, by the way, I have so many mutual good friends with Jamie Dornan, and they have all told him, I'm quite sure he knows who I am and knows that I want to make him suits, but he probably doesn't want me to make his suits because he gets fucking whatever else. Yeah, Jamie Dornan 100% and Rory McIlroy.
I was going to ask if you done Rory McIlroy.
Oh no! And again, I played golf with Rory a couple of times as a kid.
No way.
I do all his dad, like his dad Jerry shops with me all the time. Michael Bannon, his coach. I do all Michael's stuff. I do most of his mates, Ricky and I haven't made stuff for Harry, and Mitchell. Yeah, I've all got stuff off me. And in fact, I actually sat beside Rory at UFC. Remember? No, it wasn't UFC. It was a Frampton fight. It was a world championship Frampton fight. I actually sat beside her. And we had a chat the whole night, and everything's great. And I didn't want to be a dick and just go, Rory, you'll not remember me, but me and you played golf when I was like, whenever we were a kid, But once
did you play golf like when he was like up and coming, like young?
I played with him once when he was 10. He had just joined Shandon Park because he'd fallen out with. I think he'd fallen out with the junior convener at Hollywood or something like that. And he came to Shandon and I played around with him there. And then I played around at
Did you beat
Hollywood
him?
No, fucking didn't. He beat me when he was 10, like.
But even then, did you know when you played him, were you like, holy shit, this guy's going to be something?
Almost 110%. Flip me. Like, he was just back from winning, I think maybe he was 11 then, but he was just back from winning like the world under 10s.
Yeah.
He won something over in Florida. And I'm thinking, look at this kid. So it was me, his dad, him, his dad, and another friend of mine, I think a guy called David Senior I went to school with. And the kid at the end just literally straight down the middle. I don't know if you just play golf, no?
Yeah,
anyway,
me and my dad be big into golf.
It's just the best game.
Awesome.
the first at Shandon Park must play about sort of 300 and probably 360 yards, slight dog leg left. He just goes drive through with the 4 feet, sinks the putt for birdie. I'm fucking drive out into the fields way out there, 7-iron over the back of the green, chipped another thing. And back then, don't forget, he was only just a cub, so there was not all this furore. It was just like, here's a kid, he won the world under 10s, he's really good. But you knew back, and I know it's easy to say now, but I'm sure everybody says this, but you did. Thinking back now, you go, fuck, he was special. And I played a game in when he was about 13 at Hollywood one time with a bunch of lads. And again, his ball strike and just the way he struck, the noise that his club makes in the ball was different than. But then saying that, see Harry Diamond, Harry is caddy, equally as good a player, equally as good a player. And another good pal of mine who actually played with him as his partner at the Walker Cup, Johnny Caldwell. Johnny's back on the European Tour this year. Johnny, in my opinion, boys, was a more complete and better golfer than Rory growing up. But what Johnny just maybe lacked and Rory had, Rory has this unbelievable mindset. Like just this, I'm going to win every day in life. So, bit like Andy Malone. This kind of, this every day in life. And Rory believes every single tournament for me was that height that he goes into, he's going to win it. That is categorically his default is winning, right? And again, that is to do with how Jerry brought him up and how Michael Bannon, his coach, coached him. They always fed Rory with positivity and patting his back, and you're going to do this. And okay, you didn't do it today, but see tomorrow, Rory, you're going to do it tomorrow. And say you didn't do it that. See tomorrow, Rory, you're going to do it tomorrow. And see the next tomorrow, Rory, you're going to do it. They literally just bred this winning machine into him, and always, was never hard on him. Never, if he had a bad day, never brought any negativity to the setup. Just always brought. Actually, Michael, his coach, we have some great chats about it because, I would see Michael being getting stuff maybe every month and a half, every 2 months, and he is so, boys, he is the nicest man you've ever met, and he's just a legend. But he'll tell you straight. He says, see, whenever we were coaching Rory, we just filled them with confidence, and look what it's done, boys. Because now you can take it two ways. You can fill someone with confidence that can't back it up, Andy Malone, and you can fill someone with confidence that has the talent. They knew that Rory had the talent to back it up. So going back to the Johnny Caldwell thing, Johnny, exceptional golfer. You've never seen anybody get up and down from places that Johnny's up and down from. But again, Johnny very, very strong in the head, but just not, Rory just has something. He just has star quality. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. There's just an extra something in him,
It's just a winner.
If you ever get Jamie Dornan through the door, you can tell him we've DM'd him and we're waiting for his arrival.
Ross has
on
a
the
real thing for
podcast.
Jamie Dornan.
I think that'll be class headlines. Hey, you ever watch The Fall that he's in?
Do you know what? That's the worst thing about it. See if he came into my shop, Ross, I wouldn't have anything to talk to him about. I've only actually seen him in what do you call that Dirty Eyed
50
film?
Shades of Grey.
50 Shades.
See, I've never watched 50 Shades of Grey, but I've watched The Fall. I think he's class in The Fall. That'll be a good headline because in The Fall he's called the Belfast Strangler, so it could be big headline: Belfast Tailor meets the Belfast.
Ross, I'm using that, mate. Thank you. I'm gonna send messages to people.
Oh.
Show them this here. Ross said the Belfast Tailor meets the Belfast Strangler. Oh, that's very, very good. But here another. I do. I don't know if you follow Line of Duty. I do stuff for them. So Martin Compston would be quite a big actor. So we make all the suits for DSR and stuff, and then Martin just in general. So he's pretty cool now. But
proper celebrity bar or celebrity tailor then.
It's honestly it is. It's good, and to be fair to them too, Thomas. They're all really good with me. Particularly I don't some of them if they don't ask to pay. Some of them in the past, I've given them the stuff, right? And that's fine. And then I kind of drop in here, guys, don't worry about that. But just, give me a tweet or talk about me online. But the vast majority of them, boys, want to pay. Now, I make sure and really look after them and give them really good discount. But, they're not in looking freebies, which is, we'll usually probably ask them about this later on, which is where the whole influencer thing comes into it, where people just want sent stuff for free and that kind of stuff. you know, like I know people have sent me stuff, but I don't go asking for it, right?
Yeah.
But there are influencers out there that demand, you know, stuff for free.
Have you
But-
had an experience then with someone like that? You don't have to name names, but have you had any stories they got where you've had
Yes, and like here, and like guys with, you know, a decent following, but like nothing that's going to make me any money or promote my business, you know. I'll go, oh Chris, you know, I'll wear your suits. I have so many followers and all this here, blah, blah, blah. And boys, one thing you'll learn from the whole social media thing when you really look into it, see following. Following is bullshit, really. It's just numbers, it's vanity. Engagement is the key. There are so many under 5K Instagrammers out there that have 10 times the engagement of the ones with 1 million followers.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, like, you know, post likes and just engagement and stories and all that sort of stuff. That followings is just like one of the things that like, see, even I think I have 16,000 followers or something on my Instagram. My engagement on my posts is actually quite low. People, I don't think, like the shite that I put up. But you know what? I've never changed it because it's me. It's what I want to put up. And the whole fact that maybe only I put up like one of some of my motivational quotes and fucking 89 people out of my 16,000 like it, that bothers some people. And then they change their, you know, they'll change their flipping, their angle on their social media to try and get more engagement. I honestly don't give a fuck. It's what I want to put out. And if 89 people liked it, that's great. I liked it, so I put it out. But there's
I couldn't imagine walking in the shop and being like, oh no, here, sure, I'll post a wee photo up and I don't have to pay you anything. Like, I think that's a wild arrogant thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe just because we're not at that level yet, but like at the same
Boys,
time, I think if
One day we'll be in and we'll be like, here, I'll give you a wee post on Instagram. And
I think though, if you're in that type of position, like it's hard to argue with the numbers. Where if you're in that type of position where you have a ton of, like, even YouTube, for example, if you have a ton of subscribers or something, like, you are going to be inevitably in a better position because that will come with money.
Yeah.
So like, you probably could afford, you know, I wouldn't walk in anywhere like you know, and buy a suit off you or something and be like, I'm walking in here knowing that it's probably going to be slightly more expensive and go,
Yeah.
oh, well, like, and not have the money to pay for it.
I know, and that's the thing. That's the thing too. Most of the hiring, like the celebrity type guys, like, they're loaded. They're all fucking loaded. So they should be. You know, you'd like to think they would be paying for their stuff, but in the vast majority of influencer cases, that's what they're just looking for a freebie.
A shout out's not going to pay the mortgage, like.
I learned this. I learned this quite a long time ago. And it's something that I try to teach people too, that if somebody is going to do something for you, ask their engagement figures and not their followers. Whereas, you know, most people, even the way, like, I'm quite even sure the way Kathy pimps me out of Kathy. So Kathy Martin she would be like my PR agent, right? So I know it's fucking cringy talking about it, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. It's good fun. So she would pimp me out. Certain people come to her, right? I want a guy to do flipping in our Instagram post and a couple Instagram stories. Who have you got? And she'll go, well, here, I've got such and such on my books. I've got such and such on my books. I've got this guy, Chris Suitor. And I'm quite sure she'll go, he's got 16,000 followers. And somebody go, oh, fuck, right. That sounds good. We'll have him. He's a father. He's got two kids, a wife. He's a business person. He'll do. But honestly, in some cases, it's coming around it now, boys. I'm saying, but here, you don't want me to promote your brand. See if you get such and such who's only got 4,000 followers. She gets 1,800 likes on her post, you know, and like, I'll maybe get you on a good day, I'll maybe get you 600 or 700 on a good day. Actually, me just trying to be real and trying not be flipping fake, you know, you'd be better spending your money and go with her. So for me, going forward from a social influencing perspective, engagement is where it's all at. And that's just something that not a whole lot of people really truly understand it. They just see following, but here, you boys, you'll even know, even on the YouTube, like, following doesn't pay the bills, views pay the bills. Like there's we Nico with his Pride and Opinion YouTube. He's only 300 and something. I know it's only, but it's still up 300 and something thousand followers, but he gets like consistently between 250,000 and 400,000 and 500,000 views on his videos quite quickly. That's money. Whereas having 3 million followers but only getting maybe 80,000 views on your videos, there's a disconnect there. And I hope now just people go, because there's a lot of businesses out there have thrown away so much bad money putting their money into social influencing in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And the way, to be fair to Kathy now at CMPR, what she does is whenever all us guys we do stuff for her, we have to screenshot the engagement and send the engagement back to her. Now, thankfully, I get really good engagement on my stories, but sort of 4,000 or 5,000 watch the stories, right? So that's always a good marker for her.
Yeah.
But she's honestly, Kathy gets a bit of a hard time sometimes online, but honestly, she's one of the good ones. There's other sort of PR agencies out there that don't do that and just sell all in the following, but
Yeah.
it's another story.
You were saying before we came on, you told us quite a good story about how you and Nico met.
Oh,
He's obviously have a bit of a bromance going on. If you want to tell us that story
yes,
again.
I will, and he'll not fight me for telling it because this is just the truth. So Nico landed in my door. I can't even remember how many years ago it was now, but it's probably maybe 3-4 years ago, maybe. And to cut a long story short, we had a discussion about who he was and what he wanted to do, and I had told him that I had friends that do what he does, and I sat on a couple of different boards with another one of the bigger watch retailers in Belfast, and that look, me and him, I don't think could do business, and he literally stamped his feet and stood at my door and demanded, he says, Chris, in his crazy wee Dutch Belfast accent, Chris, I am not leaving your shop until you and I are friends. And I was like, holy shit, this guy's mad. So again,
he is the Belfast Strangler.
He is he's the Belfast watch strangler you with a Rolex. But yeah, so it took me a while to come around to him, but I ended up just thinking, here, this guy has got a serious amount of balls to stand in somebody's shop, somebody he doesn't know, and demand that we were going to be friends. Do you know, I'm thinking, flip, this guy's on it. Like, so anyway, him and I became friends then, and he then used my shop for the next year and a half to set up his business and sell watches, and I introduced him to all my clients and all my close friends and my network and stuff like that, and he introduced me to some of his, and do you know what, it's really, I'm really proud of him and really proud of what he's done, because like, it was a struggle, you know, it was a struggle. He had all the other bigger retailers breathing down his neck trying to stop him at every juncture of what he was doing, but he stayed true, and like, he's consistent. He is now, even on his Instagram, exactly, that's the exact same Nico that you seen in my shop that day. You know, he is very consistent. He still hates Hublot. He you know, he wants to be famous. I'm not gonna lie to, like, he wants to be famous, and he wants to be famous, number one, to feed his ego, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, Nico. All right, if you're listening. But he also wants to be famous, to change how the industry sees watches. Nico is a proper watch expert. Like, he knows everything about them. And there's too many guys out there doing watches and selling Rolexes and APs and Pateks and stuff that are just doing it because it's a commodity and it makes lots of money. And, you know, their heart's not in it. And like, by the way, boys, there's nothing wrong with that either. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but that's kind of the passion connect that me and him had. I was that passionate about suits and tailoring, you know, just wanting it done right, wanting to know everything about the industry and wanting it done right. He was that kind of guy then for watches. And it's really good to see him actually really succeeding now. Yeah, we're going to get him on, boys, aren't we? We're going to get him on.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
We're going to pull a few
Do you
strings.
think...
He'll do what I tell him.
That...
Ross, he'll do whatever the fuck I tell him. Simple as that.
We'll have to hire a big studio team and all just to get him on.
And here you need red carpets and Ferraris and all to pick him up.
Champagne waiting at the door and all.
Champagne and all that sort of stuff. Yep. He'll need it. That's great.
Do you think that, like, obviously, that you're doing all like the bespoke, that sort of like bespoke tailoring, and then obviously Nico's doing like the sort of personalized watch, like you see a lot of his stuff where it's like, come to us and we'll have a chat about watches, and it's more like personalized. And as well as that, I was thinking about this today, because there's the shop I bought my bike off is more like a bespoke, like expert, like they know what about bikes, like it's not just service, like a big chain. Do you feel like did that ever go away, or do you think that's coming back? And again, we're in like the sea of all this like online and big like branch stores. Do you feel like people like you or Nico or like this like that shop that said there about the cycling, like it's a shop of money more, but like he's so like, whenever I was deciding like I wanted a bike, I went to Chain Reaction.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, Chain Reaction were dung.
Yeah.
Absolute crap. Like I'd went and just wanted, I wasn't even in a position to buy. I was like, I just want information so I know what I'm getting before I get it.
Yeah.
And the guy is like, we've got nothing in. And I was like, no, like I don't care. Like I just want to know. And they were like, oh, we've got nothing in. I was like, right, okay, never mind. And I just turned around and walked out again. And then someone had suggested going to Moneymore, this place, Seekley Sport. And I'd been into him and he was like, no, let's get you measured up. There's no point, there's no point in selling you something that you don't actually want, need, or isn't going to fit. So like I ended up buying from him just from the sole purpose and spent a lot more money on him than I did, than I would say I could probably get elsewhere. But like, I think it was the whole thing, like this sort of personalized. Do you feel like that's coming back now? Like, are people appreciating that more, or did it ever go away?
100%, Ross. No, it did. Like it definitely did. And by the way, Nico literally ripped off my business model. Wee bastard. So he saw from our shop how we treat people. And again, I can't give, like, I'm by no means giving, like, I'm taking any of the credit here. How my dad brought me up to serve people and serve customers. The whole adage, the customer's always right.
Yeah.
Well, the customer is always right in most cases. Sometimes it can be wrong. But anyway, that whole thing of protect your customer and your business will be protected. That is just key. We go to the ends of the earth for every single customer, whether they're buying a tie or whether they're buying £1,000 bespoke suit, they get exactly the same treatment. And again, Nico picked up on a lot of that in our shop. And he's seen there's a beautiful app. See, when you come to the Suitor Brothers, boys, if and when we open up, you just have to come up just for the crack. Literally. We make, there's tea, there's whiskeys going, there's buns, there's crack, there's laughing, there's trying on stuff. It's just a beautiful, wonderful family atmosphere. And Nico did take a whole lot of that into his own business and put his own stamp on it. But he saw the reason why we're so successful in business is because we care about every single customer and not just the ones that are spending the big money. Whereas there's some shops you'll go into and it's almost as if the shop's doing you the favor by having a shop. Yeah. There's plenty of shops out there like that. Oh, here, we're doing you the favor. If you don't want to buy our stuff, well, fuck off. Those are the businesses that have went to the flipping wall. But yes, Ross, the whole personal side of things is definitely back, and it's back to stay. See the way all these big multinational retailers are falling by the wayside. I really do hope to see the advent of more independent retailers in our city centres. It's actually something I've been very strong about and vocal about over the last sort of 10 years within business, particularly in all the different industry bodies that I represent, which is the government needs to get behind more independence and make the high streets and the city centres more diverse with with shopping exposure, with what people have to shop from, things that are just different, because you do find in those little boutiques and personal shops that you get that same service, Ross, that you got.
Yeah.
And you bought the guy. You didn't just buy the bike. You bought the guy and you bought the shop. And that's why you spent more money. Now, did you go out of that shop going, fuck, I just spent more money? He's a bastard. No, you went out the shop thinking, that guy got me exactly what I want. In fact, he got me more than what I wanted. Yeah. I didn't even know I wanted that, but I got that. Yeah. So that for me, mate, that's why, like, I think our wee business model in Suitor Brothers is extremely sustainable. For me, no matter what happens in the economy out there, I think we'll be here for the duration, boys. Unless the government bans suits or something like that, we're here for the duration. Purely because, Ross, exactly like the guy you've just came across, we have built a huge network of customers, and in fact, if you want to call them friends, like I would say 7 out of every 10 customers come through the door. We know their first name, we know their wife's name, we know who their kids are. We will remember what they bought the last time in what particular size. It's something that we train ourselves to do, even our staff. And there's nothing better in my head, anyway. I don't know what you feel. But seeing you go into a shop and somebody knows you.
Yeah.
Are you going to a coffee shop? Chris, how you doing? Right, yeah, usual. I love that. Do you know what I mean? And they know exactly what you want, how you take it. And that's then why you go back the next time. Yeah. So for me, boys, that bit of the game is the easiest part of business is just to really respect your customer. And again, this is something my dad instilled in me when he was doing the whole Chris, this is how you flip and serve customers when I was about 13. Like, what did I know back then? He goes, Chris, you're not trying to sell them this suit, you're trying to sell them the next suit. And that has always stuck with me. You know, you're not trying to see if you only get the person in to buy something once. The business will probably still take over, but it will not thrive. It'll survive, it will not thrive. See if you can build a collage of customers, and I say we call them friends, that come back time and time and time again. That's how businesses thrive. And that's certainly, boys, that's what we do. And it's nothing special. There is nothing special about me, nothing special about my brother, nothing special about the staff. We just really respect the customers and give them priority. And that is definitely, I think, coming back.
Yeah.
Obviously nowadays, online retail is a huge thing, and
Yeah.
like the likes of ASOS and stuff, where people are just buying cheap suits and they're like receiving them the next day. But obviously with lockdown, people are sort of forced into this online shop now. They don't have another choice. Do you think whenever like people come out of lockdown, like sole traders like yourself will like benefit from it? Like people wanting to come into shops and sort of get that one-on-one experience?
Shit, I do, because like there's even my wife Nicola, she just bought some stuff off ASOS or wherever it is there, and it came and it doesn't fucking fit, and now she has to package it back up, take it. In fact, I think she took it around to Asda. I think Asda done like a drop off type thing now, where you can just pack, which is actually making that whole shopping thing quite easier. But anyway, but you know what I mean, that whole thing of ordering something, getting it through the door, doesn't fit. Fuck that. Have to send it back. Have to wait in the refund. Have to order it. I think lockdown, even though people are shopping at the minute because that's their only outlet to shop, I think lockdown has really driven a nail into online clothes shopping, particularly for men. I've got messages flooding in left, right, and center. When are you open? When are you open? Need clothes. When are you open? Need clothes. And I think we're gonna get a boom out of the other side of it, and just the whole fact of here we're allowed back out into a shop again. That's gonna be key. Like, you know, we're gonna fucking right. I'm gonna go in and see Chris. He's gonna make me a cup of coffee. And we're gonna sit and talk shite, and then I might buy a shirt. So you know, even that whole, it's gonna be new. But yeah, hate seeing the high street stuff go, boys. Like, see the likes of Topshop and Devlin's and all that. You know, cities need those, even though they're replicated in other cities, and that's what's not diverse about most cityscapes. You need them. What you don't want is these big empty flipping units with nobody in them, because there's nothing worse than a city centre or a high street that has closed shops and charity shops in them. That's not what we want at all, boys. So I don't know. I actually don't even have the answers to fix that problem. Because their business models just weren't sustainable. Online did ruin those shops. Yeah. You know. So
with all them closures of the big retailers, do you think like this might be a chance for like sole traders and stuff to
hopefully, but
benefit from that?
Yeah, I do, Shay. But the Gucci, shh. What's you see? She's a cat or something. I was just on that, by the way. I wound my kids up that I get them a dog and call it Gucci just to wind them up. So it did. It's called Gucci. Walking about the park and all yesterday shouting, Gucci! Gucci! People looking at me going, who the hell's that wanker shouting Gucci? So anyway, yeah, but back to the high street thing. Oh God. Yeah, it's the rent and rates thing, Shay. It's the issue. It is not affordable to open a shop in a big city nowadays, particularly over here, which is where I've been hammering the government for forever, that they need to do. There needs to be an initiative, a funded initiative for new starts and independently owned companies that maybe want to branch out of their local town and want to come into the city. There needs to be a fund and a strategy put in place to make that happen, because the likes of, let me give you an example. Debenhams, think of the Debenhams. Think of Debenhams in Castle Court. Like, I know that big unit would be too big for any independent retailer, but even still, that big unit there, the rates alone on it are £800,000 a year. Jesus, that's the rates alone. Marks and Spencers, you know the big Marksies in Belfast?
Yeah.
It's the most expensive shop unit rates wise in Belfast. It pays £1.1 million in rates.
No bother.
1.1. I hear that's only rates. That's not even rent.
That's a That's not that's a few bags of Percy
not.
pigs, like, and
I
that's
know.
sort of,
By the way, they are the only company, or one of the only companies that I know, those in the likes of Tesco's and stuff, that could afford that. So what are you going to get now? You're maybe going to get some of those big units, like, let's take Devon's as case in point, where it's now going to be chopped up into smaller units to try and make it affordable, to try and entice people in. Once you start chopping up the bigger shop units, there's then no big shop units for if the bigger guys get back on their feet. So it's just hard to square this circle, boys. And I actually haven't given enough thought, but I don't have the answer for it at the minute. All I know is that, Ross, what you asked her, I think I think, the independent guy will do well out of this. Now, is it going to make us flipping millionaires? Probably not, but I do think that we'll get a turn out of it. I hope that the shopper, the consumer out there, wants to come and give the local independent their money, rather than just go and give, like, there's even tonight was like National Pizza Night or something, wasn't it?
oh yeah,
National Pizza Day. So see, instead of going to Domino's, I went down to the wee local pizza shop in the Cumber Road there and gave him my £11.85 instead of giving it the Domino's. But so
I think one example of that I noticed myself was, do you know that shop? It was in, what was it? It was beside Victoria Square. It was Revolution of Cuba. Or no, not beside Revolution of Cuba. It was called Cuba.
Cuba, yeah. Evolution to Cuba, yeah.
Evolution of Cuba. I think didn't they start off in Dungannon?
I think they still have a shop either. Yes, in Dungannon or Cookstown. It was one of those ones, yes.
Yeah, but I think the Belfast one closed there just before lockdown. I think that's just one example that I've seen from what you're saying.
And you know what? Up that street, that's Arthur Street. That's my street's up Arthur Street. That's the big main street. My street leads onto. Again, that's the most expensive street in Belfast. Yeah. So you need to be selling a lot of Freddie jeans and flipping cheap suits to make that work. Like, that's, I know the profit in that stuff. You need to be selling a shed load of stuff to make that shop pay. In fact, I know that it wasn't ever going to be feasible. So fair play, but fair play to them for trying. And that's the kind of case in point where there should be a fund set up to subsidize that. Local independent, run by a local guy. I think I've met them. I'm nearly sure I've met them, and they're lovely. And there they were trying to bring their business, say, from Dungannon, from a peripheral town, into the big city, trying to they had a lovely shop front, trying to do it really well. But the overheads just got too much, and that's why they went. And that's when a government strategy should step in and go, right, guys, we'll pay half your rent, we'll pay half your rates for the next 3 years. Go for it, try and make a flipping work. Yeah. So, but look here, it keeps falling on deaf ears, boys. But I think this COVID thing will hopefully see something different at the other side.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to get on the High Street. There's a thing being put together, a government body called the High Street Task Force. And my name's in the hat for it, and I'm trying to put every single flipping move behind the scenes, trying to make it happen to get me onto it. So that's like a strategic body that will actually shape where the government spend their money within the high street. And if I can get onto that, that'd be great, because that puts an actual physical retailer, a guy with a flipping shop, on the committee instead of all these experts that don't have shops.
Just pump it all into your shop.
You're right. Upper Arthur Street's. It's a wee bit shite looking, guys. They throw me £1 million out of there. But no, again, I just want to help. That's the truth. I just want to help out. And I feel very, very strongly for Belfast. I love the place, boys. Like, even I was actually going up the Derry there yesterday morning to do that TEDx thing. And I was just coming up over the M3 bridge. It was, it was dusk and the lights were all on. And you were looking out over the Odyssey and Herndon Wolf and up the Lagan where the boats and stuff were. Just thinking, this city's flipping. I know you're Newry, man, aren't you? So whereabouts she's from?
Armagh.
Armagh, yeah. So, like,
Ballymena.
Oi, get in there, Rossi. Belfast. Here, by the way, let me wrap it up. I love Belfast. Let's talk about Armagh. Armagh is a flipping cracking place. Over the last lockdown. Now, I know you weren't allowed out, right? But over the last lockdown, I took me, the wife, and the kids down to Armagh a couple of times, and we got out at I don't know if it's the Diamond or the Square, whatever that big park is. What's the big park?
The Mall.
The Mall. Yeah. And the kids got out in their scooters. See that for scooting?
Yeah, brilliant. Good there, yeah.
I actually like the drive to Armagh. I don't even know why, but I like that after you get off the roundabout and you're driving through the wee windy road. There's a new big garage on the left, and you're coming past some of the orchards and stuff. I don't know. I like Armagh. I think Armagh's a nice place.
Unlike Ballymena.
Here, lad.
We give
Bring
Ross an awful
it-
stick about
Boys,
Ballymena. So
Bring
we do.
you,
Boys.
bring you a scooter down to the Ecos Centre in Ballymena.
Jesus
You'll-
Christ.
You wouldn't get it back.
Don't even talk about Ballymena. Jesus
Why?
Christ.
Why?
What
No.
There's
That's
two
all right.
here. There's two places that need just cut out of this country.
Do not
Newry-
say Lauren and Ballymena. I'm
No.
walking if you say Lauren and
I
Ballymena.
forgot about Larne right now.
Aye.
Actually, three places: Larne, Ballymena, and Newry. Yeah, jeepers. After we've here, do you know what, Ross? We've a load of great customers from Ballymena, but they, do you know what?
Not anymore.
Here, no fun. Stereotypically, they are the hardest flipping dealers that there is, and I know they have the stereotype for it, but Ross, they just flipping are.
We're
When
as
I come-
tight. We're as tight as a duck's arse.
Docs are
Like I done retail in Ballymena, like Ballymena town centre. Like I worked for Carphone Warehouse for
Yes.
years, like, and then I worked in another wee phone shop as well before I worked in Carphone, and like I work in sales now still. Trying to get out of it, but like I still work in sales, and I swear a lot of I think a lot of the reason why I'm good at sales is because Ballymena. Like
Yeah.
if you can get money out of a Ballymena person, you're doing something right.
Do you know where's worst? It is Ballymena, but it's the worst part of Ballymena for it. Straight. See if you get somebody in from the street. I don't know, boys. Maybe Shane Thomas, you would know this where the Straight Valley is. See if
No.
you get people in from the Straight Valley. Jesus Christ, are they hard for the spend money? And they'll argue over 50p. You know what I mean? Say the suit's 350 quid. You've already bent the 270, right? So you're already past the 20% mark. You know, here you'll do it for 265, and you go, guys, look, you're breaking my heart. I need to make money at it. At 270 quid, I'm not even making much. But sure, I tell you what, you'll do it for £269.50. And you'll go, what do I do here? Do I just throw these fuckers out? Or do I, nope. You take a deep breath and you go, do you know what? Sir, would that make you happy? He goes, aye, we'll deal at $269.50. And I go, there you are.
That's so we can go around and buy a can of boost afterwards. Just to...
And do you know what? There's a guy who works for me. He's part of my family, a guy called Jimmy Christie. He's been with our family for 40 odd years. Amazing guy. Jimmy is from Ballyclare sort of direction. Well, Burnside, Ross, right? Burnside direction.
Aye.
And he is the best at dealing with them, but it literally freaks me out because he deals with them toe to toe. So he goes, you'll take $269.50. He'll go, nope. And he'll start taking it off the hanger and going to hang it up and literally walk away from them. And they go, hold on. Okay, we'll go 270 then. He goes, you're right, you will. And he'll zip it up and do the buy. I can't do that.
Whenever I worked in the phone shop, like a lot of it was like back and forward, but now the Carphone Warehouse shut down, and then I went and got another job, and it's primarily like selling basically to agriculture retail sector.
Yes.
So like you take Ballymena, and then you take a Ballymena farmer.
Jesus.
Like, and to be honest with you, that's like the past year of doing that. Like I thought I was pretty like hardline in the phone shop. And now I'm like, nah, like you need to grow a set of balls here. There was a guy once, I had literally a machine at like $4,000, and he was like, I'm not giving you less than 2.
Right.
I had the cheek to say that to me down the phone. He's like, your machine's not worth 2. And I said to him down the phone, I was like, well, then this phone call ain't worth continuing. Ring me back whenever you reconsider. I'll hug the phone up down on him.
Yes. And
I sat for him for 7 days, and he phones back and said, Ross. I was like, hello, sir.
And then he bat in the end. Yes.
Well. We knocked £500 off it, but
sure, that's all right. Yeah, you got there with it, but it's sales can be hard work. Now, there's other people too, boys, that just come in and don't even ask, you know. But I'll be honest with you. The ethic in our shop, the atmosphere, I almost like, see if somebody doesn't ask for discount, I'll immediately give them discount. You know what I mean? Just to kind of, so whenever that customer walks at the shop, he'll go, flip your man, Suitor didn't, I didn't ask him for discount. It was say 350 quid and he done it for 320. I didn't ask for it. Here, he's a nice fella. I'll come back in again. And, it's see the ones that don't ask for it. They're almost more appreciative of it than the ones that are asking for it.
You want to do more for them.
You want to do more for them. So yeah, but whenever the Straight Valley ones come in, Ross, I just say, Jimmy,
Lock the doors.
on you go, and do whatever there, please. So flip up. But honestly, it's so it's awful. Sometimes I'm not good with that stuff. It's like a standoff, when there's silence and Jimmy's walking back to put the suit in the rack, and the guy and the husband and the wife are just kind of standing there looking at each other over 50p. You're going, oh Jesus, this is awkward. And then
It'd be awkward enough if he still had the suit on, because then there's that sort of thing where he take the trousers off over 50p.
Take them off, sir. Take them off. You're not having them. See you later. But I enjoy it, boys. I enjoy the whole sales process, and one of the things that I'm very aware of, and what I put forward to my boys, my staff, is that try and not to oversell stuff. I want the client to buy the suit, not us to sell them the suit. And that's kind of, now you do get the odd guy that comes in, just goes, sell me something. And when somebody goes, sell me something, goes, 100%, I'll sell you everything. And away you go. But the vast majority of people just come in and just need something. I've got a wedding to go to. Right, what's your budget? Well, I want to spend 300 quid. Right, boom, 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 boom. There's a whole outfit for 280. How's that? I'll have that. And that's kind of where we are with it. And again, it's one of those things, boys, too. The fact that this all comes down to how we run our business. We run our business very strict and very sharp in a way. What I mean is we don't overextend ourselves on borrowing. We don't overpay ourselves on our wages. We don't overcharge on our prices. We don't inflate stuff. We don't we pay the tax man, we pay the VAT man on time. We just run a really sharp business. So it actually means that we don't need to fight for every sale. That's what I'm trying to how to get structure this conversation. We don't have to fight for every sale. Like we don't come in on a Monday morning and go, right, boys, you need to sell $1,000 today. You need to do 1,500 quid. You need to do 500. You need to do this. We need to lift $5,000 a day, right? We don't do that. We open the shop on a Monday and know by Saturday night, 5 o'clock, we will have taken enough money to pay the bills. And it's actually a really, really nice, it's a nice place to work because of that. And it's a nice place to own because of that. And it's just a nice, it's a lovely way to run your business. But again, boys, that comes particularly with me and my brother, the two partners, with us not overextending ourselves. We don't rip the business off. We don't drive about and flipping Ferraris and live in multi-million-pound houses. We just run a nice, strict, sharp business. We do we do very well out of it, but we don't. We always leave the business very cash rich, and it just takes the pressure. It's actually a really good way, boys, to do business. But the corporates in the corporate world, Ross, as you know, doing sales, I'm quite sure you're given targets, and Ross, you need to sell, you need to sell. That's not the way we work.
So you're not jetting off to LA anytime soon?
Well, folks, it just so happens that Amazon are looking to do a documentary on me. They're looking to do a documentary. They are. What are you laughing at, Nicola? They are.
She knows the crack.
And it's all about the climb. So you got to join with me, boys, on the climb. We're climbing Cave Hill, and Amazon are coming out to do a documentary. No, but we're not going to LA. But you know what? Here's another thing. I know we spoke sort of briefly about the man that shall not be mentioned before, and this is kind of one of the things that annoys me about social media. Here I'm a business person. I run my business in a very honest, a very sharp sort of business acumen style way. How to describe it? I run the business very right. Let's just call it right. Okay, we run our business right, and it takes a lot of hard work, boys. A lot of hard work, and we've done very, very well, and we're doing very well. And then you get some other people that come out and try to make a mockery of business. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And just say, this is how easy it is to make $1 million. You just tell a lie, get a load of followers, pretend there's going to be a video, and you make £1 million. And I'm just thinking, Christ, lads, we are all stewards of this world. Like everybody in this world has a duty of care to each other fellow man. And I think that business people have a duty of care to the younger generation. You guys are new and you're coming out, you're going into the workplace. I think we as business people particularly the ones that are online, trying to give people inspiration. I think we need to have a bit more care, or have a bit more duty of care and attention as to the message that we're putting out there. Because, boys, let me tell you, there is the odd guy out there that will lie his way to £1 million and con his way to £1 million. But for 99.9999999% of everybody else, it'll be through hard work, graft, and just just being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the key. And if the ethos is here, don't be honest with yourself and just kind of try and lie your way to the top. What example is that setting for people? Because there will be people. Because what social media does, social media causes replication. So you see something online, you go and try and do it yourself. You know what I mean? Oh, like there's, I suppose Nicola loves coffee. So, we're starting our coffee business, but you see all these cool wee coffee shops online. You go, here, I can do that. And that's what we're doing now, right? And we're getting a lot of our inspo flicking through Instagram. Oh, that's good. And you see one in Germany and one in San Francisco. I like what they've done, and you replicate it. So I'm just wondering, when are all the next he who should not be named? When are all the next one of those is coming out to start spinning this big lie about them doing this and doing that when they're flipping?
Do you think that, like, obviously from being from Northern Ireland, like, I would be quite looking at people who are doing whatever and say, like, that's really good that they're at a position that they're in, being from Northern Ireland, because there is that, we talk about it a lot on this podcast, is that there is that kind of stigma with Northern Ireland and like being successful, if you want to even go down this whole like influencer route and stuff, where it's like it's not a proper job, or it's not this, it's not conventional. And even with business and stuff, it's like you see like Nico now and the likes of yourself and stuff, and it's like they're making moves, do you know what I mean? And it's like, but then there's also that other half that, like, obviously no one knows the full story, but like there's a bit of a gray area surrounding it. So is that kind of like, is that damaging the likes of the likes of what you and like Nico and stuff are at? Would that damage that?
Yes,
or
Ross, I know. Yes, and I know your angle you're going for here. Yes, and I think yes, it could be damaging. Yeah, because again, me and Nico, me particularly, because I literally put my entire life on Instagram, boys, as you know, and it's not even that I'm doing it to have a following or anything. I just really enjoy it. I really enjoy showing people the shite aspects of my life too, as well as all the flipping good stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I have great interactions with a lot of kind of my regular followers, and it's kind of like a social thing for me. So I'm putting up stuff all the time, and I've got loads of conversations going behind the scenes, and I love it. Boys, I'm not gonna lie to you, I literally love it. See, if Instagram closed down tomorrow, I don't know what I'd do. I swear to God, I don't know, I'd lose my marbles. But
I think it's that thing now where, especially, I think young people more are starting to caught on to it now, where how can you tell
who's
real
faking
and
it?
who's
Who's not?
And then it's that type of thing where if you turn around and say you're talking crap, like you're not who you say you are.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Then all of a sudden you're a hater or you're a troll. And that's that's one of the things with the whole Andy thing there. It's just one of the reasons why I tried to stay out of it as much as I could, because whenever you call someone out, it's very easy for them, even though they are talking complete and utter shit. It's very easy for them to go, he's a hater or he's a troll. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. And it's, whenever you're like, oh, Jesus. So that's why I just try and flip it. I just want to delete it all out of my brain and never talk about it. But yes, it is, boys, I think it is. It's damaging. And I just hope that, see, particularly in Northern Ireland, I think we're a very smart, educated little wee nation. Our guys, we have some amazing people over here. And I think our national education average is very high. Our schools are so good. The education you guys have got has been exceptional. I do think we catch on to bullshit very quickly. That's a trait about Northern Irish people, I think, that we do love to call a spade sometimes. But there is also that other thing that we do love a celebrity, and it's also because I think this is actually a good topic of conversation, Ross. I think you've got me thinking. I think it's because, this is only me ad-libbing and I'm talking out loud now. I think it's because we've had so much celebrity success over the years with George Best, with Alex Higgins, Barry McGuigan, even then on the Carl Frampton, Joey Dunlop, Jonathan Ray, Bestie, you know, the fact that we have had so many figureheads and people to look up to, it has made us really want and crave attention and crave celebrity, which is why I think that a lot of these so-called fakers and fakestagrammers, if you want to call it that way, think that being famous is such a good thing. But like, it depends what you're famous for, lads, doesn't it? See, if you're famous for being a liar and a con artist, why would you want to? I don't. Why would you want to be that, you know, famous for that? Now, if you're famous for being a world champion boxer, boys, that ticks every single flipping box, because that is real. If you're famous for becoming a multi-million-pound business owner that has brought, you know, flipping so much investment to the country and employment and all the rest of it, that's key to be famous. Absolutely fair play. But see these guys, and again, we're not just talking he, she, she'll not be named, but a lot of the fake Instagrammers and the fake influencers and stuff like that. Like, is that what life's all about, boys? Because I tell you, like, as you know, I do influencing, right? There is not a lot of money at it, boys. There's not. Yeah. Like, there's some of them out. There's some influencers out there who have a big following and do get paid more for what they do. It is not a full-time job, boys. Like, it's just not. Now, YouTube, this is what we say before, YouTube is a full-time job, but Instagram influencing, not a full-time job.
I think the thing that's annoying about the whole, like, everyone knows who we're talking about, like, but people like that is, like, when you actually know people who do run, like, their own businesses, like successful businesses. Like, my dad runs his own business, and I've like aunties, and I know people locally who run like successful businesses, and they're making money. And they're working non-stop, and they're working the weekends and doing everything behind the scenes that people don't see. Like, and then you see people like posting their flash cars and all who've been in business a few years, and everyone's looking up to them, and it's like, it's all fake, if you know what I mean. Like, they don't actually understand. It's the people that believe it that annoy me more. It's people that look up to them and they're like,
do you know what, Thomas? I mean? You just hit the nail on the head, mate. And that, like, you know me, I think I've said before, I try to block all this out, but that's why I had to try and block all this out, because it's that exact person that gets to me. You know, I'm thinking, flip me, boys, come on. You got to see this for what it is here. If you don't see it, fuck, how do you not see this? You know, and it's that old frustration. But yes, like, flip me. Yeah, hard work, boys, is where it's at, and you know, and dreaming big and doing what you're good at. That's the key.
It would be good. It would be good to see Northern Ireland get to that point where, like, it's funny because like all the people that you mentioned there is like sports people, or any people that we've discussed. They're like business people. Yeah. So like they are quite, like, their achievements in themselves, but to me, I see that as quite like conventional, if you know what I mean. That's going down the sporting route, going down a business route. Whereas like I would be more like, it's funny because, and then you've talked to him from yesterday, your fella Adam B, unbelievable. Like that there, I think needs more recognition over here, and it's starting to get more recognition over here because
what a guy.
Like, and I think that's why we're so focused on what we're doing here, because I think what we're trying to do is there's podcasts in Northern Ireland. They're very comedy sort of based and stuff. Yeah. Whereas then you've got other podcasts, but where we kind of wanted to do was everything. So it's why just go down one route? Like, we'd love to have it. Like, we have you on talking about business, and we've comedians on talking about comedy, and then we do YouTube videos and all that there. And that all just grows because it's honest stuff. Like, there's no bull in it. Do you know what I mean? And I think your likes Adam B and stuff like that needs more recognition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does, mate. And you're right. And it is, as much as I hate to say it, it is an industry. You know, being a YouTuber, as probably most of two of my kids probably want to be YouTubers, but being a YouTuber, oh, flip me, it is a proper industry, and Adam has done so well out of it. And I kind of tell you, boys, I met him for the first time yesterday at the TEDx event. His mom and dad and stuff were there, and his wee brother. They are lovely, and he's so fucking lovely. You want him to do well. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You're saying, like, you just like, flip me. He is smiley, bubbly, happy, just very courteous, very polite, very unassuming. And you're just thinking, his kid's class. You know, he's just a wee star, and it's amazing what he's.
It's funny because someone made the comment to me like the whole time where he went. I think where he popped off over here was when he bought like the parents the house.
The house, yeah.
And someone had said to me, "How's he doing that? Just sitting making videos?" And to me, I was thinking to myself, like, he's what age? Like 17, 18? I don't.
He's now,
older than that.
yeah, he's now 20. He's now 20.
20. Like, there's more to that than just making videos. Like, he's a smart
He
guy.
is.
Like, you know what I mean?
He's straight A. I think Adam had opportunity to go Cambridge Oxbridge. Like he was straight 4 A stars at A level, like proper genius. And he said to himself, do you know what? I can make shitloads more money doing YouTube. And the boys, as you know, from making your own YouTube videos and stuff, there's a lot of work goes into it like the editing is just consistent, and the content, you consistently need to be thinking like you're making little miniature programs maybe every couple of days. I know you think of BBC or UTV or any of the big production companies, they have teams of 40 people to make one show, and that's only on the editing side. And yet these YouTube guys maybe have themselves and another editor, and they're doing flipping 3 videos a week. Like it's proper flipping talent, boys. It is. And I would say the money in it, obviously, for me knowing Nico and seeing what he's doing on his channel, boys, the money in it is just flipping scary. Like it's scary. It's mind blowing. I need to get into YouTube. The thing is, I annoy too many people with my whole positivity, get up, get out, get at it. I don't think I get any flipping viewers or any followers. What do you think? See, that says it all.
No comment.
I watch it.
Thanks very much, bastards, all three.
We'll watch you.
Oh, no, boys, I think I'm a bit too old for it now. I'm 40 in 2 years' time, so it's bad enough me trying.
We'd love to do all that though. Like we'd love to like do YouTube videos where like we could go to like the likes of like your shop or like Nico or something and do, because like that to us is it's getting a bit of, I know like it's not really like with our 400 subscribers isn't getting you a lot of exposure, if you know what I mean, but at the same time it's like still I think it'd be good to get in and sort of promote the whole Northern Ireland like small business, all that type of stuff. Like
there's a market out there for it, particularly on YouTube, Ross. There is definitely, because YouTube's such a huge market. And again, I think you need to be affable. You need to be able to engage. And you three boys, you're affable, you're friendly. You're engaging. That's your kind of platform would be the right one. But yeah, you need to get a strategy in your head. I say how Nick his Pride and Opinion things took off so well is he had a rock solid strategy. He had a couple of guys working with him on it. And they used like TikTok and all these other flipping like particular words in his, they look at how to put certain words in the video and in the title and how to do good, the wee screenshot, like a thumbnail. That's what they call it, isn't it? The wee thumbnail. What way to do the thumbnail to get people to engage, and they just used all the tools in the box to really get that YouTube channel out there. And like Nico's traction was just brilliant. Now, so there's one half of it, which is the production half of it, and then there's the other half, which is the content, which is what he's doing. He is quite funny, and people do want to watch him. So the two things have came together really, really well. But back to Adam, like you have to hand it to him, boys. 20-year-old, ban his man to Teslas and houses, and you know what I mean. And Blue Peter presenter, and here, class, boys. And again, I love that. See, Northern Ireland. Again, it comes back to what we're talking about. We are quite hard on ourselves and put quite a high level of success. But really, boys, we have, like, you think of some of the guys I just mentioned before. We are a brilliant little nation. Yeah. We are an outstanding little nation with so much going for it. That I think we almost need to drop the bar a little bit and just pat ourselves in the back every now and again. And go, do you know what? We're doing all right. Do you know what I mean, boys? We're doing all right. And this, I know we have a lot of mental health issues over here. I'm an ambassador for a group called Tammy, and some of the guys that they work with, oh God, boys, it's so sad. Like, but and part of the reason that mental health issues exist over here, in my head anyway, is that we're too hard on ourselves. We set too high a bar for what we are. and you're thinking, guys, do you know what? We're doing all right. Do you know we're
Yeah.
alive? We've got roof over our heads. We've got running water. You'll see me do this, boys, on Instagram. I'm gonna noise the fuck out of people. It's great. And you know what I mean? We've got like electric. You know, I'm one of these guys. I go up, I turn on the lights in the morning and go, fucking class. Lights turned on, it's great. You know what I mean? And then you go over to the tap, and you pour yourself a glass of water. And you know, to everyone else, they just go and pour water and go on about their day. I pour water, and it's now built into my head going, fucking running water, class. Don't have to walk to a flipping lake 2 mile away with a big bowl on my head trying to flip and get water. You know the way, like, there's still some horrific third world countries out there that just do not have any sort of amenities, never mind light switches and running water. And it comes down to like a resilience type thing. I think I actually think our younger folk have got it too easy, are getting it too easy. We're not being taught these valuable life lessons. Like, you know what, guys, you're born in Northern Ireland. You're one of the flipping top 5% or 10%, you know, let me see, what would you say? If it comes to GDPR, like wealth, you know, wealthy nations. Like, we're over here, we are way up there, boys. This is one hell of a country. But all we kind of think of is, oh, Jesus, unless I'm a flipping world, you know, if I'm not a world champion boxer, or I'm not a flipping, you know, run my own business, or I'm not this, I'm a failure. And this is terrible, and my life's shit, and Northern Ireland's terrible. You know, that's not the way. See, if you just have a nice, normal job, and you get a wife or a partner, and you have kids or dogs, and there's nothing wrong with having just a nice, normal life. And that's one of the things that when I go into the kind of the mentor coaching side of things, that's one of my key messages. Like, boys, let me tell you, there is nothing wrong with being normal.
Yeah.
You know? And what are you laughing at, Nicola? Just laughing at me now because she thinks I'm not normal.
You're not
Do you know
normal.
what I mean? There's absolutely nothing wrong with average and normal, and that is a key flipping. And I instill it in my kids too. I say, guys, see, if you do an exam, you get 50%. Here, fine, normal, fine. You know, this whole pressure, boys, and you will have had it because you're at university. This pressure of school and exams, and you know what I mean, and results.
Yeah.
You know, all this. Our young people get this big flipping pressure put on them to achieve and to win, and you know, all this kind of stuff. And I think that society in Northern Ireland particularly just needs to take a step back and go, guys, do you know what? We need just to learn to love where we are and love what we have. And then see after that, if people achieve certain, great. If they don't, great. See, as long as you're happy and you know you're happy, and you know you've light switches, boys, running water here, toilet. Have you heard me talk in the toilet?
Oh, jeez.
Right. What about this? Nicola, shut the door. I'm going to swear a wee bit. Well, my kids don't like me swearing. So, right, that's the door shut, right? So imagine this, boys, right? This is how good this country is, right? Busting for a shite. Go to the toilet and you do your shite, right? Wipe your bum, toilet paper in the toilet. You get up and you either press the button or you flush the handle. Well, see your shite. It is now someone else's problem. Do you know what I mean? It's someone else's problem. The minute you press the button or fucking flush the chain or whatever, you don't have to think about putting your shite in the bin, putting your shite in a compost heap, doing something with the toilet paper, where it's going. Is it going to get stuck in a pipe? Is, you know what I mean, what we're going to do with it? Where's it going to end up? Is it going to flip and end up in a fish's mouth? You don't have to do anything. You just press a button and away it goes. Like, that fucking mind-blowing stuff, boys. And I think you should teach that sort of stuff in school. I think P7, right, guys, today we're talking about toilet culture. And see your toilet. See, when you go to the toilet, guys, somebody else's problem. Be flipping thankful for it. You know, be thankful for it. Because, you know, there's numerous different countries out there in the world that still, you know, have outdoor toilets or have a hole in the ground where you do your dump and you have to flip and shovel soil over it, or do you know what I mean? Or do it in a big bucket and go and dump it in another pit. And, you know, boys, we just do a shite, press a button and forget about it. That is Northern Ireland, mate. That is...
Yes, it's North.
That is how good we get it. You don't even have to think about your own shite.
That's it, perfectly summed
They
up.
should have that on the airport as soon as you walk in.
Shouldn't they, Ross? Shouldn't they? Be thankful. Big picture of a toilet. Thank your toilet. Do you know what, boys? And again, I done a talk up in Derry about a couple of years ago, and this is one of my key points. See the amount of messages and pictures of toilets I got in my DM, my inbox the next day. It was great to see him. Chris got up today. I will never shite to see him again. And you know that all comes down, boys. I'm sure you have seen all these life coaches and stuff that talk about gratitude and just being thankful, and that is one of those key things that I think. See, because I try to make a kind of a humorous type mental image out of it, it sticks with you. I think you know what, you think a wee bit different the next time you're on the toilet. You really do.
Appreciate every plop.
Pleasure, Sean or Shay. Pleasure.
I think that's a good place to wrap up.
A great note.
But no, we will wrap that up there. And thank you very much for coming on. That was probably one of the most eventful podcasts we've ever done.
Thank you.
Here, do you know what,
definitely.
boys? It was an absolute pleasure, and I think you're on a really, really good thing. And keep doing what you're doing. And if you need any contacts with getting people on, just give me a shout, and I'll try and.
That'd be great.
Do anything I can do this in.
So, well, you can find you. We'll give your Instagram and stuff a tag below, but you find you at your Instagram and stuff, and then everything else that you do is all in the description. So if people want to go and find out what you're up to, that's the best place to go.
And if you ever need a suit, you know where to go.
Nowhere to go. Come. Do you know what, Shay? That's the thing. I try and not shove it down people's throats. Again, I'm there. If anybody needs me, I'm there. Simple as that.
That's great. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
Boss,
you.
thank you, Shay. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. Cheers, boys.
No problem. All the best now.
Thanks, lads. Cheers.